I think my worst date, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not as bad as what I've heard, but was with an internet date. I'd never met him. I saw the pictures and he looked cute. And when I got there, he did not look anything like his pictures. And it was clear that they were potentially of someone else or just did not look the same. And so as soon as I saw him, I knew that I had made a mistake. And it was too late because I had described what I was wearing and what I looked like. And I immediately tried to figure out a way to get out of it. And it was, of course, too late. First, we exchanged this extremely awkward hug and we went to go purchase our tickets, and because I knew I wasn't interested in him, I immediately tried to not send any mixed signals, so I paid for my own ticket, and he tried to get really touchy-feely, and I think that's awkward when you know someone. It's even more awkward when you don't know anyone or know the person, so I was trying to wriggle out of his advances. And then he starts talking about his tattoo, or whether or not we have tattoos, and I ask him if he has any, and he says he does have one on his ankle, which, not to be a stereotypical girl, but is a really odd placement for a guy. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's weird, but whatever. So he lifted up his pant leg and showed me this tattoo of an animated mouse, which I thought was interesting, to say the least. And finally, when I asked him why he decided to get a tattoo of that, it's something so permanent. And he said it reminded him of his childhood, and it was something that he really enjoyed growing up, and it made him happy. And so we're sitting there, and there's some kids in front of us, maybe 15, 16-year-olds, and they're talking. And, I mean, we're early. Like, the lights have not dimmed. They haven't even started playing the commercials before the commercials. So we're just sitting there sort of chatting, and at one point he, yells at the kids in front of us for talking, and I was like, that was weird. Later on, the kids were still kind of chatting, but not loudly and weren't interrupting anyone. But then he stood up and told them to be quiet, again, in the middle of the movie, and everyone turned around and looked at us, and it was completely embarrassing. And at that point, the date was definitely over, and there was no chance of a second date. We went to dinner afterwards, and it was kind of just this mishmash of random conversation, and like the yelling at the kids, it'd always be like these random comments where I wouldn't know what to say or how to respond, and at the end of the date, he asked me to drive him back to his car, which I was like, oh no, he's gonna know what kind of car I drive, and he's gonna get into the car, and something's gonna happen. And of course, I do it because I'm really nice and have a hard time saying no. So I drive him to his car, and and he gets out and he like tries to do the like random hug, kiss, lean over the console thing, and I was like, okay, bye. So it was just a really odd date. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just random and odd. I do not even remember his name, but yes, that was probably my worst